Hey Visionaries, my name is Tim, and in this video I want to show you how I made this simple LED scrolling marquee graphic in Alight Motion. So what I'll do now is start a new project. I'll go back to the home screen and tap the plus icon. I'll choose 16 by 9, 1080p, and a black background. And then I'll tap Create. The first thing I need to do is create the LED pattern, so I'll tap the plus icon and choose a shape layer. Then I'll pick a circle. For the color and fill, I'll choose a radial gradient. And I actually want to reverse these colors, so I'll tap on the black square and I'll choose white. Then I will tap on the white square on the other side and I'll choose black. Now I want to drag the endpoint for the white part of the gradient to the center of the circle. And I'll drag the black endpoint to the edge of the circle. Then I will tap the left arrow to go back. And now I need to apply an effect to this layer, so I'll tap Effects, Add Effect. The effect I want to apply is in the distortion column. And I'll scroll down to Tiles. Now that one circle will be tiled across the screen, which will create my LED pattern. Now I'll tap the left arrow to go back again. Then I'll tap Move and Transform. Tap on the scale icon and reduce the size. Now I have the screen filled with tiny dots that will make up my LEDs. I'll tap the left arrow to go back, and I want to apply one more effect, so I'll tap Effect, Add Effect, and this time I'll choose Hot Color. Right away, that effect makes these dots look like glowing LEDs. The last step is to mask this layer in the shape of our text. So I will tap the plus icon, and this time I will add a text layer. In my example animation, I typed the word visionary. Next, I will increase the size of the font. And I will drag this text box out to make it a little larger. Then I will tap to change to a different typeface. For my example, I use Source Code Pro Black. And let me just resize this text box again. Now what I want to do is change that text into a mask. To do that, I will long press on the tab on the left side of the timeline and drag down to select both layers. Then from the menu in the top right corner, I'll select Create Masking Group. At this point, you can decide how you like the look of the LEDs. In this case, I think they might look a little better if they were smaller. So I'll tap on the masking group, tap Edit Group, I will select my shape layer again, then go to Move and Transform, tap the scale icon, and reduce the scale a little more. That looks good. The smaller dots make the text a little easier to read. One more thing you could do to enhance the look of this text is to add a glow. So I'll tap on the masking group, then tap Effects, Add Effect, and I'll swipe all the way over to the edge column and tap on Glow. I'll change the glow color to match the LEDs. Then I'll reduce the alpha and the hardness and maybe the radius as well. The last thing I'll do is set the blend mode on this layer to screen. And that will just allow me to composite this nicely over whatever background I choose. If you want to add a little variation to the brightness, you could tap Effects, Add Effect, swipe over to Opacity and Visibility, and add the Pulse Opacity effect. For this, I'll set the frequency pretty high, but the strength very low. Let's scrub through the timeline to see how that looks. Maybe a bit more strength. Now you notice the subtle flicker in the light. The last thing I'll do is animate the position of the layer. Starting at the beginning of the timeline, I'll tap Move and Transform, and I'll add a keyframe. Then I will swipe up on the control pad to move the layer off the screen to the right. Then I will scrub to the end of the timeline And I can see it looks like my text layer doesn't mask all the way to the end of the animation. So let's fix that quickly. I'll tap Edit Group. And here you can see that the text is not extending all the way to the end. So I'll tap this Trim button to extend that layer. I'll go back. And now I can finish animating my mask. Tap Move and Transform. And now I will swipe on the control pad to move the text all the way across the screen. So let's preview that animation. That's a bit fast. We could extend the duration of that animation quite a bit to slow it down. So let me drag on this handle. I'll extend it to about 4.5 seconds. Then I will tap Move and Transform, and I'm going to long press on this keyframe and move it to the end. Now the animation is looking pretty good. I hope this gives you some ideas on how to use effects in Alight Motion, and thanks for watching. If you'd like to download my project, there's a link in the description below.